Welcome to the Gloria Show, where personal growth takes center stage. Founder and CEO of Personal Dynamics, Gloria Sloan, shares practical strategies to enrich your life, elevate your mindset, and empower your journey. As she reminds us, ultra-successful people never stop learning, reaching, and growing. Get ready for fresh insights and uplifting inspiration. Here's your host, Gloria Sloan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gloria Show. I am so excited about today's show, and I'm glad that you are tuning in or listening in because today we're going to talk about lifelong learning in a changing world. And you know how I feel about lifelong learning. If you've been following me or listening to the Gloria Show for anytime since we started, lifelong learning is one of the biggest things that I do promote. And I am so excited today to have Sue Lydon, who is going to really give us some information on her perspective of lifelong learning. And she's going to give us a lot of good information and tips on how we develop through that. Sue explores how lifelong learning has become essential in a rapidly changing AI-driven world, not as a hobby, but as a way of being. We're living it now. She dives into the curiosity and growth mindset that are now the true power skills, and how the myth of work-life balance is not only outdated, but it limits us in our capacity to grow. And we're going to have she's got a lot to say about that because, we've talked about trying to balance everything. Well, she's going to help us to let us know that you're limiting to some degree when you do that. Sue, as a senior manager of product at Spectrum Research and performance coach, she has lived many reinventions. Through her own journey, she shows how integrating all parts, girl mom, MBA, roller girl, yoga entrepreneur, is what builds the resilience, fulfillment, and bold leadership needed to navigate change. And her message is simple. When you stop compartmentalizing and start leading with your whole self, you unlock the adaptability and courage required to thrive in today's world. So Sue is going to do that, and I am going to have her to come on and share more information about her background, what she does. She's got a wealth of information and knowledge, and we're just going to bring her in right now and have her to share with us. Hello, Sue.
Hi.
Welcome to the Gloria Show.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Well, wonderful. Well, I want you to first let the audience know a little bit about your background. I know you are a digital product strategist and a leadership coach, along with a lifelong learner, who's never been in just one lane. And I want you to tell everybody about that. So starting with, I know the MBA from Wake Forest University with a background in leading large enterprise projects, but tell us about being a product strategist and how that has incorporated you to do some of the things that you're doing now.
Yeah, so I think that if you're in corporate America, a lot of people can relate to, you have seasons where sometimes you're super energized and sometimes a little bit less so. And there's a lot of change happening out there in the world right now. Things are moving pretty quickly, the economy, technology, etc. So, I hear a lot about work-life balance, and it always kind of makes me chuckle. And so I've really kind of come to the place of work-life balance is something false that we really don't need to strive for because it's just one more stressor that we have in our lives. So when I think about what I do a number of things. Oftentimes when we get together, or we're networking, people ask you what you do. I love it when people tell me I do lots of things. I love that because it's so true, right? We have so many different parts of us, all valid, all interesting. And if we can get to the point where we can incorporate all of that into each and everything that we do, we bring so much more value to the table. So the fact that I'm a leadership coach helps my role at Spectrum Reach as a product manager. It helps me interact with the teams, the cross-functional teams, and interacting with those cross-functional teams at such a enterprise level helps me with my coaching, either to relate to my clients or to understand where my challenges, like my personal challenges, might be in a conversation, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. So you really get into back to taking the myth out of work-life balance.
Mhm.
You're able to transition from A to B to C to D without,
Yes.
a whole lot of effort. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Now I have to say, maybe it comes partly with age. I don't know that I would have been able to as much, in my 20s, but at this age, I we were talking before the show, and I talked about there's a lot of times when we come up with where we are in lives and evaluate like how we're
Yeah,
doing, where we want to go, what's next, setting goals, etc. Well, a lot of those goals I found in working with different people are things that they think they should be doing. And in yoga, we have a saying. It's like stop shoulding on yourself, which
right, right,
is a funny way to say. Typically a should is somebody else's expectation of what you need to be doing, or what you think somebody else's expectation is of what we need to be doing. And ideally, we get to a point in life where we realize, I have all these things. I'm a mom. I have extracurricular passions that I'm like really passionate about. I have my work that I do with Spectrum Reach, also passionate about that. My colleagues, my community around me. And how do I make that all work together so that I'm not rushing from one to the other, to the other, to the other? And I'm recognizing that all of these things together really make me a better person overall, a better colleague, a better parent, better yoga teacher. Along the way, I've learned a lot of different lessons. We talk about lifelong learning. I know that's a really big value of yours.
it is. It
I've
is.
been on that journey, I don't know, 25 years maybe for
Yeah.
human development. And, all the new books that come out, I love to get through them, absorb the information, try to incorporate it into my life. And then on top of that, I've done some sort of unconventional things. I think one of the other shoulds that we tend to hold ourselves to is that success needs to be linear, right? We take this step and then this and then this, and it's like this vertical.
That's good.
And in my life, I've found that I have a non-conventional path. I've lived in 3 different countries, like 25 cities. I've played roller derby, and I teach yoga. And on the surface, those two things may seem very different, right? And most people look at me and say roller derby, that they don't see it. But if you look at the photos, then you'll see it.
Yeah, yeah, the photos and how
Yeah.
you work with the. Can you talk for a minute about the roller derby?
Yeah. The roller derby really started coming out again. I remember it from like stories or like old news things and TV shows from the 70s, right? And they were actually on this banked track, is what you call it, where it's like on an angle. Bank tracks are a little bit difficult to, maintain and keep in a location. So the new rendition of that is called flat track roller derby. And when I first tried out for it, I was in Savannah, Georgia. That's where I played with the Savannah Derby Devils. And when I first went out, I was really interested in the skating. I was nervous about the hitting.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? So I had all these fears, but I did it anyway. And what I found was, I mean, the amount of, if you can imagine, the people who play roller derby are very strong, personality and physically, right? There's a lot of strong personalities. We had a team or a league of 50 women, and it's a very grassroots type of sport where it's for the skaters, by the skaters. So we do everything from merchandise to PR to events. There, when we have a game, it's called a bout. And, equipment, training, everything is done by us as the league. So there's a lot of different facets in there that, of course, really relate to business. You're running a small business essentially, but as a volunteer. Okay. And then on top of that, it's about, I remember whenever I'd get on the track, I would look at the girls on the opposing team and I'd think, oh my goodness, they're going to kill us. And as you start playing and you get through the game, at the end of the game, it's like everybody's like really happy and interacting, and they think the exact same thing about you. Okay. And so it was a really interesting perspective, right? That it is only a perspective that can be changed at any time. You can think I could have thought in their perspective, like I'm the one that's gonna, come in all tough, and I'm thinking they're the ones that are tougher than me. And so I like to take that as the learnings that I have from my days in playing roller derby, retired now, are lots of things. The freedom of rolling around on your skates, the passion that everybody has for running the league, the hard-hitting nature of it, where you think, oh my goodness, I can't get up. And then you do. You push yourself physically to limits that you don't realize that you can do, and then you do them. So you learn where your edge is, and then you find your possibility in there. So that was derby. And then on the sort of the opposite side of that, like maybe more of the softer side, I have yoga.
Yeah. So they complement each other. Is that
mm-hmm.
how when you go from, and I'm visualizing being on the rollers, skates, going around a certain, and then after that, hey, it's time to go do yoga. I'm putting together how you sync both of them in terms of one with the other. Help me.
Yeah. So I'd have to say, after we finished a bout, we would definitely be amped up and not ready to do yoga.
I didn't think so.
However, when I first started doing yoga regularly before I was teaching, I found that the breath work in yoga was super beneficial to the sport, because you have to go, we have these iterations in the game where you have these 2-minute jams, is what we call them. And so you play for 2 minutes and you go, 0 to 60 or 0 to 100, whatever, however, you're amping up really quickly. Mm-hmm. And then you come back down, you might, replace that little pack, and then you're going to go back in again. So it's very much like heart rate up, heart rate down, heart rate up, heart rate down.
Okay.
And there's obviously a lot of impact, when you're playing, because you're using your body to knock people down. And with yoga, the breath work and being able to only breathe through my nose, there's something called Ujjayi breath, which is in through your
mm-hmm.
nose, out through your nose. And that the sound that you create when you do that, it builds internal heat. It allows you to bring your attention to something other than, what do I need to get for groceries tonight, or this project is due, or this client needs me over here. And so I think that was the biggest thing for me with yoga initially, was just, like the the discipline of it
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
take me into like I could take that on the track, you know?
Okay. Because
Yeah.
you do have to be disciplined. Yoga is you have to discipline yourself in order to perfect it and to get anything
Ah,
out of it. And so that I could see the running from the track and then going to
the
you
studio.
have to discipline yourself. So
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. And it's like you say, bringing your whole self to work,
Yeah.
bringing
And
your
those
whole self to work.
Yeah, and for as a girl mom, playing roller derby felt really powerful for as an example to my girls, right? So I felt like a roller derby was a benefit to my motherhood or my parenting of them,
Okay.
and their upbringing. Yoga, same thing. I'm a very different parent, honestly, since I've done my yoga teacher training about 10 years ago, than I was before that. And I have a sense of understanding of who I am and how I react somatically, emotionally, and I can help create more balance there in me when I can hold back my reaction until it's maybe more appropriate, perhaps.
That is wonderful. Well, before the show, we talked a little bit about how it is when someone is always explaining or telling you what you should do.
Yes.
We talked a bit about that. And as you know, there are times in life when people are looking at what we do, how we're doing it, and not necessarily passing judgment, but there are some people who will be the first to say, well, you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that in terms of your perspective when we have to hear this on a regular basis, what people expect or say you should be doing. And maybe in your role with all the things that you have done, this has somewhere captured your attention to having to listen to this.
Yes.
Can you,
Yes.
can
And
you speak to that?
yeah, and more importantly, listening to yourself, right? So
Mhm.
that is really the truth that is where all the possibility lies. When I work with clients from a coaching perspective, we start with values. I was speaking to a good friend of mine recently who was recently laid off, and we talked about it's like an identity shift, right? Like I identified myself as this person who worked here. And now that that's gone, now what? And so if you can come into this person that works here and does all these other things, this doesn't this is not as impactful. Obviously the salary is, right? If you leave.
Yeah, yeah, you talk about that and the
Yeah.
purpose, and the
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that a performance coach, that in itself, when you are coaching to bring out the development from the standpoint of what a person's potential can be. Because I know as a life coach, I'm looking at it maybe in a different way from a career standpoint when I coach people from the life coaching part of it. But
Right.
from a performance coach, that takes it in a different level because you are bringing out or getting them to develop in a way that they do have skill level that
Yes.
has a greater potential. And the whole point is to expand on that to perform to a greater degree. So you incorporate a lot of that in your coaching, I'm sure, to
Yes.
help the
Yeah.
person see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so I'm a big believer in that you need to be able to understand yourself to be the best leader that you can be, right? And um, that starts with knowing who you are and how you react in certain situations, looking at what your fears are. I have a number of different exercises and inquiries and assessments that we do, and fun things that are a little bit, out of the ordinary, perhaps, but that really bring you to understanding like where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow, so
Yeah,
that you can
yeah,
live into your tomorrow, not from your past, but living into your future. And when I am passionate about something, when I talk about roller derby with people, my eyes light up. When I talk about yoga with people, my eyes light up. I talk about my kids, my eyes sparkle, right? And um, having all of those things forefront and apart and not compartmentalizing them, right? Not
Mhm.
saying, I'm at work, I'm not going to talk about my kids, or I'm not going to utilize some of the training information that I may have gained from my yoga or from my roller derby, and really like stepping into it, right? Owning it, putting that jacket on and saying, yeah, this is who I am and this is what makes me unique. And you have so many things that make you unique, right? And so those things that light you up, um, when I talk to people who are lit up, I get energized. I want to work with people. I want to collaborate with people who are energized. I want
Yeah.
them to understand what their role is within the organization, within their community, within their personal life, and feel fulfilled. Right? Still, always have things that you're going to want to achieve and continue learning, but it puts everybody in a great mood. It makes you more open to differences. I probably smile more. Um, in fact, there's a lot of research out there that talks about, your passions and your hobbies really help you to prevent burnout. So
Mhm.
the more passionate you are about something, even if it's outside of work, the less stressful work will be for you. Right. So if we can, again, just like layer them on top of each other in a unique way that works for each individual, I don't know. I think we just all have a much happier way of being.
Well, I think that all is good because when I talk about that, I incorporate with life learning. And
Yeah.
see, what we're talking about is even when people have hobbies, but yet they still have jobs, they have other careers, they have things, but life learning is a continuous
Hmm.
avenue of things. You
Yeah.
always have something to do, something to learn.
Hmm.
And I write about it, I talk about it all the time. Life learning is continuous. And
Yeah.
those of us who are lifelong learners, we know that there is something to learn every day. Every
Hmm.
day, every minute, there is always something. We just have to explore, be open. And as you talk about, lead boldly,
Yeah.
and when we're curious, we want to
Curious.
keep learning. But
Yeah.
when you put yourself in a compartment, as you say, and just kind of stay there and you're there, yes, you're good at what you do, you
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
but you have to explore territory
Yeah.
and keep learning. And again, we're going to talk about this in a minute, especially in a world that is now being reshaped by AI. People are being burned out because
Hmm.
there's constant change. And
Hmm.
that's what we want to focus on and let the listeners know today, that you have to allow yourself to become a lifelong learner, to just stay in the running. Am I
Hmm.
right? Do you
Oh,
agree, Sue?
absolutely. Yes. And there's so much change happening. We're not sure where things are going to be, in a few
Yeah.
years. AI is wonderful and scary and uncertain. And there's a lot about it, right? There's a lot of different opportunities, but there is a lot of fear around it, I find, in corporate America right now. And so, well, I mean, from an employee perspective, not from
Hmm.
tech companies' perspectives. And with that, the more you are able to be agile, the more you are able to know who you are, what you react to, how you react, and what's important to you, the more you are able to pivot when needed, right? If some, like, you have to get comfortable going outside of your lane. However, there's a lot of experiences that we can take you through to get there, where you try these things and there might be completely off the wall, and maybe you'll love them and maybe you'll hate them, and either way, it's okay, because you've learned and you're coming to from a place of curiosity to explore the possibility. So I'm a big believer that that's really the biggest skill that we can have these days, as the tech increases, like the changes in tech are moving so quickly. You have to be able to learn, pivot, and love it. You can't just do it. You have to love it.
Yeah, and as a coaching anyway in itself, I know you talked about in performance coaching that you have certain tools and things that you use. Well, just like in life coaching,
Mm,
every coach has something
yeah.
and different techniques that we use to help to develop an individual, help them along the way. But it's interesting because whether it's life coaching or performance coaching, we still have to address lifelong learning even at that. Because
Yeah.
definitely in career coaching and when I'm speaking to someone, I have to let them know the importance of always having something else that you know how to do. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think about people that I've said before, have a backup plan, have something else you know how to do,
Hmm.
because when it comes a day, it may come a day when you have to pull out another skill.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been learning and keeping stuff in stock along the way, then shame on you,
Hmm. Yeah.
because if you have something else that you can pull back on, another skill, another gift, or another talent, that's going to help you. And I would like to think that now, with the reshape and the way the world is now, that people are beginning to realize, I am so glad I learned how to do something else.
Well, even
You
just
agree?
learning how to learn is
Yeah,
really important, right?
right.
That the learning piece, it creates passion, it fuels innovation. Um, that's how we get our creative thinkers and all the, really cool things that get to be developed in the world.
That's true. That's true. People have to learn how to learn in some respect. And so
Hmm.
I do agree with that, because I've had people to say, oh, it's been so long since I've studied, since I've done this. But learning can be made simple.
Yeah.
There's so many things, listening through to things, through, and then podcasts. There are so many
Yeah.
ways, webinars, and so many things
Yeah.
are offered, like
Yeah.
freely, in a sense that if you do want to even say, learn more about AI. I mean, there are people now who are offering opportunities for people to engage, to learn more, not to fear it. It's
Yeah.
here. We have to accept it. It's not
Hmm.
going away. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. So
Hmm.
there are people now who are saying, okay, we're offering this free webinar, or get engaged so you can learn how AI can help you
Yeah.
instead of harm you.
Hmm.
Really? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 100% agree.
So we have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, before we take a break, I want you to talk a little bit about through your platform, the Pivot Star Labs.
Okay.
Do you
So
mind? I don't think if it,
I don't mind.
I
I don't
found
mind.
that interesting, the Pivot Star Labs, because I'm always talking about people how you pivot. You
Mhm.
pivot and you step
Yeah.
back and you look at where you are. But I love that the Pivot Star Labs. Can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
So interestingly, well, I think it's interesting. It's actually the two positions, or a couple of the positions that you play in roller derby. They're blockers and a jammer. The jammers score the points. The blockers stop the other team from scoring. And one of the positions as a blocker is a pivot. And that's kind of like the lead of the pack. You're acknowledging where we're going, how you have to shift in any moment. You can also take on the jammer's role of scoring points. Anyway, all of that to say, I love the reference because it reminds me so much of things that I'm passionate about. Spent many years, 7 years in with the league, and it is so applicable to everything we do, particularly right now. I mean, pivot's a pretty big word in the business community, right? We use that a lot, and I really want people to become stars at pivoting. And that's where the name comes from.
Become the star. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of like you've made it sound, when I heard it, a lab, it's
Mhm.
like the scientific approach to it in a way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So we look, when I work with people from a coaching perspective, we go through a framework that really delves deep into who they are, right? And then understand where they want to change, What is the gap? How do you get there? And really, like, for me, it's more about being like the authentic, vulnerable, like getting people to a place where they're okay being vulnerable so that they can truly decide where they're going to go next.
So you incorporate that with a blend, so to speak. It's a blend that you incorporate from a tech perspective.
Yeah.
Wow. That's got to be a very interesting approach. Very interesting.
It's a lot of fun. I think people are sometimes uncertain what to expect. I do some workshops on personal branding at times, and my favorite part is really just getting to know who they are and then putting all of those details in AI and then showing them how they can create a story about who they are, because it's so difficult. Most of us find it really difficult to speak about themselves, right? Like when you go to write the about section on your LinkedIn profile, or a blurb for a podcast you're doing, or whatever it is, or even a bio for your employer. It's always a little quirky, right? Like you could partner up with someone, you could write theirs and they could write yours. That's much easier. And so with this workshop, I typically do that. We talk through things, but not just like, what do you do for a living and what's on your resume? And it's more like one of the clients I worked with recently didn't think that she had a whole lot of like different things happening or in her life. And then at some point it came up that she was a professional figure skater. And I was like, wait a minute, not everybody's a professional figure skater. Like that's really unique to you. And that tells me a story about, your discipline. You have to be at the rink, how often you have to be there, how long you have to be there. The fact that you're traveling, to different places, that tells me you can probably work with different cultures really well. So just getting to those little pieces that people think, this isn't relevant. And it truly is. And those are the pieces that I like to work with people on to get them to the point where they're like, oh yeah, that is cool.
Well, I have a quick question before we take a break, and then I promise when we come back, I want to get into more of this again. But you actually put this into an AI program?
Yes. So when I do my workshop, I'll coach on who they are, right? So we uncover values, etc. Yeah. And then I take all of that and I put it into an AI tool, usually ChatGPT. Right. And I tell it to, give it a prompt that's something along the lines of, we're going to write a LinkedIn profile. This is the work history of the person. Right. And this is what they're going for. What do you suggest? How do you're an expert in branding. What do you suggest we write? And we work through it. It never comes back the way, it's not exactly right initially, right? Yeah. Right. You always have to edit it. But it really helps create the story for people that they never thought of themselves in that way.
Yeah. I really like that. We're going to talk more about that after the break, but putting it all into AI, and it helps to generate at least some interest in terms of them being able to broaden their performance perspective in a way. That's what it does. I love it. Let's take a break and we'll come back in a few minutes with more with Sue.
Have you tuned in to the hottest personal development podcast streamed live every other Tuesday by the incredible Gloria Sloan? If you're ready to grow, elevate, and upgrade your life, then The Gloria Show is your ticket to success. Gloria believes ultra-successful people never stop reaching for new heights, learning new skills, and finding true fulfillment. If you are looking for a fresh, informed perspective on life, The Gloria Show is here to lift your spirits and tackle the challenges standing in the way of your success. Join Gloria bi-weekly as she brings her energy, insight, and over 3 decades of experience in business management and personal growth to help you unleash your power and transform your life. From personal development and career transitions to self-improvement and leadership, Gloria covers it all with practical advice and powerful resources. Laugh, cry, and be inspired as you learn how to elevate yourself to new heights. Whether you're looking to become healthier, happier, or more skillful, Gloria's got you covered. So why wait? Tune in to The Gloria Show every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and start your journey to becoming the best version of you. Don't miss out on the ultimate guide to personal and professional growth. Listen bi-weekly and let Gloria Sloan help you upgrade your life.
Hello and welcome back to the Gloria Show. We are with Sue Lyden, who is talking with us about lifelong learning and how she has incorporated an AI program to help her star lab, I want to call it the star lab of her performance coaching. And we were just getting into the bit of how she does it, and we know everything is not perfect, but we found it interesting in the conversation how she is using this to introduce to some of her, clients who may have some interest in seeing what happens or what it would come up to be able to incorporate that. And I'm sure there's a lot of information that they have to give you to put into it, but I think that is absolutely an amazing new technique in the line of coaching, so to speak. And I'm just wondering, do you think from a coaching perspective that we're going to see more coaches integrating this? Maybe it's already being done in a different way, because we hear about different techniques and have things that we can do as coaches in our own way. But do you feel that this is something that's going to grow to a bigger degree in our industry, in our coaching industry?
Yes, absolutely. I know that there are a number of different coach AI tools out there. And even if you don't have a coach AI tool, you can tell ChatGPT to coach you on X, Y, or Z using a particular coaching method. And it does a really, really good job, actually.
Right.
And so where like we as coaches need to recognize is, yeah, that exists.
Mhm.
And at the same time, accountability, partnership, collaboration, thought
Yeah.
partnership, the
Right.
human side of things, right? All of those still need to shine through. And it's like anything. Like maybe somebody would prefer to do it that way, and that's okay, right? And maybe somebody prefers to just like when I teach yoga, there's a saying that we say amongst the yoga teachers, like, you may love my class and you may not love it. You may love some other teacher, and that's okay. So you take what works for you when it works for you. And this is all a journey, right? It is not something that you're going to get right and never change. Lifelong learning. It's a practice. It's
It is.
it's something that you just keep going with. So yeah, I see it. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I know when I went to a conference where Adam Grant was speaking 2 years in a row. The first year,
He's good. I like Adam.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, Adam's good. Yeah, every
Yeah.
coach needs to go hear Adam Grant at some point.
Oh yes, yes. I mean, really good. And Brene Brown was there. So anyway, it's a wonderful conference. I'll give you the details after. But the first year he talked about it. So this would have been 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago. He talked about how it's going to be so important for human skills, like EI in the age of AI. And then the following year, it was really interesting because there was a lot more research and data that was coming out that talked about the fact that, whether it be medical diagnosis, which I don't think they're doing anymore, but, that they can do it AI can do that at a really high level. It can coach at a really high level. It can do it from a structural and template perspective, right? But it doesn't pick up on nuances. It doesn't pick up on tone, body language, facial expressions. It can even do a really great job of doing some visualizations, for example. But I don't find that it's super personable, right? So there are times where I want to use it and I do use it. And then there are other times where I don't. I need a person. And there's a lot of value. So in coaching, right, we hold
Yeah.
the person's space. It's not about what we think they should do. It's not advising. It's not anything like that. And sometimes it can be difficult to do that, and sometimes people want you to tell them what to do or what your opinion is,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so depending on the situation, depending on what you have going on, that the coach is bringing all of their past, their present, their
Mm-hmm.
experiences to the conversation. So that alone brings in so much more value than a framework that is theoretical. So I actually love the human side of it. I love the flaws. I love the mistakes that we're making as humans, because it makes it much more relatable. So I do think that AI will play a bigger role in coaching, but that the humans will still be very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what we don't want AI to take over total coaching,
No.
which I know it won't, because it's the personal
Yeah.
side of it. But through the last year, 2 years, as you say, I do know from my own personal development of what I have been gathering from life coaching ideas and techniques and tools. We do have to stay on top of that, because
Yes.
again, with all of the new AI stuff that's coming up to reshape how we're learning. More
Mm-hmm.
importantly, I have found a way to speak to it in a way from when I am speaking with someone who is looking from a career standpoint. And that's where I bring in the lifelong aspect of it. But now, when you include that into an AI driven
Mm-hmm.
program, it
Mm-hmm.
can open up to broader ideas.
Yeah.
Again, like you say, based on the individual's background, their past, what they've done, what they want to do, because there's so many questions that we have to ask and so much information we have to have up front before we can even begin to address putting it into an AI system, so to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
it is interesting that you brought that out. But thank you so much for sharing your
Mm-hmm.
insight on that. When I read about that, and I knew that you were doing that, I thought, I hope that you will take a minute to
Yeah.
really break down the AI aspect of it in that degree, because it's important. And coaches, all coaches, no matter what you're coaching, need to realize that
Mm.
it's here,
It's
and we
part of
have
life.
to address it. Yeah.
Embrace
And
it, enjoy it.
embrace it. We have to embrace it. And as you talk about that, we have to be resilient with the reinvention, you put it, the
Mm-hmm.
reinvention
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it.
And when I do the workshop that I do, it's 90 minutes. The idea is that I want you to come in, get value, leave with a result. And the part of it is to explore, where you are in life and help you create your story. The other part of it is to understand how AI can work for you. And I use LinkedIn as the platform just because it's an easy way for people to like put their story out there. And
Yeah.
even that alone sometimes can take a lot of time for people to feel the courage enough to say these things about themselves and put them on display like that. So it's a fun exercise. It's a fun one.
I bet so, because you have to be courageous to even talk about that.
Yeah.
It's all confidential in a sense when
Yeah.
we're in the setting, but
Mm-hmm.
to let a person know that, okay, we're gonna use this to your benefit and your development.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot for people to look at themselves in that respect,
Mm-hmm.
and it does take a lot, in my opinion, for anybody that you're coaching to open up enough to really see who they really are. That's the whole point
Yeah.
of going to a coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I am always continue to be an advocate on coaching. I say it on the show all the time
Yeah.
that coaching and having a coach. I was listening to someone the other day who said that a coach who had a coach, many coaches.
Yes.
And when you learn from other coaches, yeah, we all have I've had coaches that can help you, and so it's okay. It's not taboo. It's a good thing, and so
Yeah.
that's what we are here to support and to help. But Sue, before we leave, I want you to key in on a few other things. I know you talk about the workshops that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all of the other product designs and things that are good, and how you host these workshops, and how it connects with leadership and the things that you do. I know you have teams, you have different people that you talk to about different times, but as people are looking to not only be a better performance in what they do, but all of the things that you incorporate in your coaching, if you can just tell the audience a little bit about how you feel the benefits of all this is for them, so that when they are looking to seek, whether it's performance coaching or attending workshops, help them
Mm-hmm.
to see the benefits of this, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. So, anything that is a passion fuels you. Anything that you are feeling passionate about is creating. It's creating. It's creativity, right? It allows you to go after aspiration rather than ambition. And all of the amazing leaders, and I'm sure that many people would agree with this, all of the amazing leaders that I've worked with, they're not trying to one up you, right? They're letting you explore and guiding and being a soft landing. And it takes so much personal insight to be able to do that. And so with coaching and the work that you do and I do, that really for me leads into being that leader. You can fulfill your potential in a much greater scale. You can see different possibilities. You know where your edge is, and you can grow from there, right? And you can therefore encourage that in other people. Like, we do this for ourselves, and then we offer it and share it. And we're leading not just in our jobs, we're leading as parents, we're leading in our community, maybe it's in our church, so many places. And all of these little pieces of being like truly authentic, knowing who you are, not pretending, not being the smartest person in the room. Like, that's a very big comment, right? And it's so true. You want to come in and learn. You don't want to come in with a wall up already, knowing the answer to everything. Even if you think you know the answer to everything, I would invite you to pause and be curious.
Right, be resilient, and just being able to be real, be adaptable, and to evolve, and willing
Yeah,
to do
willing.
that. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be willing to evolve, and this is what will help you to become the person that you really, really, truly want to become. But you have to really just give yourself the flow of being able to do that.
Yeah.
And Sue,
Yeah.
your journey is proof that growth is a lifelong sport, you call it,
Yeah.
that is most powerful and can bring every part of yourself to the game. And I love that. And those are your words, that
Mm-hmm.
your journey itself is proof that growth is a lifelong sport, she calls it, and
Mm-hmm.
that the most powerful thing that you can bring in every part of yourself to the game. I love that, the way you said that. When I read that, I said, how true is it when we
Mm-hmm.
look at lifelong learning, in that way and in that
Mhm.
light.
Yeah.
Um, that it's, it's a sport, and you have really, you are speaking to your journey. That has been wonderful. So, Sue, before I let you go, tell me, is there any tips, any things that you would like to leave with the audience? Do you have anything that they can have to a way to they can contact you to
Yeah.
reach out? If there's any information available, share that with us before you go.
Okay. Last thing I want to mention is, we've been talking about potential and how we want to encourage people to pull that out, right? And be that person, because that's good for them. But not only is it good for them, it's good for everybody around them, which means that it's good for the world, right?
Mhm.
So when we get into that kind of flow, it makes a much more powerful world. And that's, I think, why we're here, right? To try to
Mhm.
create that. And to get in touch with me, I'd love for people to connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM, connect with me, say that you saw the Gloria show, and yeah, let's chat and see maybe how we can collaborate or what questions you might have.
And I have to admit, this is how we connected.
Yes,
It
yes.
is exactly how Sue and I connected on LinkedIn, which is again a powerful way when you know how to use it for the purpose that it should be used for.
Mm-hmm.
And several months ago, this is how Sue and I met. And when we realized that both of us had so much in common beyond
Mm-hmm.
coaching. I
Mm-hmm.
think that from the personal development standpoint, I think we're in some groups together. And so
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, there is a way that you learn how to collaborate and to bring things to the table. And
Yeah.
several months ago, this is what surfaced between both of us. And so I
Yeah.
again will ditto that. Go to the LinkedIn, find Sue, let her know you heard her on the Gloria show,
Yes.
and she'll take it from there
Yeah.
and give you all the information that you could possibly need and use to help you along the way. Thank you, Sue,
Mhm.
so much for taking your time out to be on the Gloria Show to provide this most valuable information. And we're going to continue to be connected on LinkedIn, and hopefully you get a chance to come back to see us again sometime.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you. This was
All
great.
right. Okay. We're going to take another quick break, so please stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Are you growing in the direction of your aspirations? Did you know your life's journey is shaped by the choices you make today? Now is the time to invest in yourself to grow, elevate, and upgrade your life. In Life Skills for the Journey, Gloria Sloan offers a transformational guide to unlocking your full potential. Blending practical tools, inspirational wisdom, and proven life skills, this book empowers you to take control of your future with confidence and clarity. From decision-making to self-discovery, from vision to action, this book is your blueprint for personal growth. And now, you can go deeper with the Life Skills for the Journey Companion Workbook, a powerful tool filled with practical exercises, reflective prompts, and engaging challenges designed to help you apply these principles to your own life. Your personal development is your life. It's your evolution. Take the next steps in becoming the best version of yourself. Your journey starts now. With Life Skills for the Journey and its companion workbook, it's time to invest in yourself and lead the life you were meant to live. Available now on Amazon.
Hello and welcome back to the Gloria Show. We have had a wonderful and inspiring time talking with Sue Lydon about lifelong learning and how her own coaching program has incorporated an AI perspective. And she went in detail and shared with us how her performance coaching has taken off to another level by introducing the Pivot Star Labs. So much was shared. And I truly know that it can be beneficial to you here again, where we promote personal development and lifelong learning in itself. So I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I hope it's inspired you to be a better person, to want to grow, to want to learn more. So I hope you will like the show. Go to all the social media outlets, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me, share the information. And by all means, I'm also on YouTube as well. You can download it. So I want to be able to share and get the message out to as many people as I can about what we do and what we have on the Gloria Show. And in addition to that, I will tell you that you can go to gloriasloan.com and now get a copy of my free ebook, the workbook that accompanies the life skills for the journey. So I encourage you to go to gloriasloan.com and you will find some good free information that can help you in your desire to learn more, to have more, to do more, to be more. Because as I always say, ultra successful people never stop learning, reaching new heights, to do better, have more. And that's what we do here on the Gloria Show. So please follow me, like me, share the information, and know that we're here. And if you have any additional information that you want to know, you can find it all on gloriasloan.com. I invite you to go there and download your free ebook. It's going to be great. It's going to be good news for you. So until the next time, thank you again so much for joining the Gloria Show. And remember, ultra successful people never stop learning, never stop reaching for new heights. Goodbye for now.
You've been listening to The Gloria Show. Be sure to check out www.gloriasloan.com for more tools, strategies, and inspiration. And don't forget to connect with Gloria on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep moving toward your best self.